Hi Team RWB, this is Janice Bowman, your social coordinator. So I decided that it would be a really cool idea to do somewhat of like a recipe virtual cooking, and I wanted to kick it off and see how this goes. It'd be great to have not just me, but to have you help me out and do some videos and provide some recipes of your own. And I think that it would be a really great idea, especially since it's been a while since I've done my own type of cooking. I usually like to do social functions, like if I have a little get together or I have a party to go to, I like to cook. But on the everyday, I really just either throw salads together or frozen foods, and I just haven't been on my healthy food, preparation for myself, and been a few years actually. So I'm out of the habit, and I'd like to get back into it. I do cook for my dog Archer, but since there's quite a meat deficiency in the stores at the moment, he's back on dog food and he's not liking it very much. He's a little bougie, so I might share some of my food items with him, but just to get myself back in the kitchen and get that flow going, I decided it was time to, give it a shot and do something for myself for once. So a little self-love. And, I want to try and stay to like mostly healthy, but once in a while, if you've got a good cookie recipe or a cake recipe, for instance, today it's our engagement coordinator's birthday, Marceline. So big shout out to Marceline. Happy birthday to you. And, I think I'm going to do some cupcakes for her in a little bit. So a little update in a little bit for that. And that recipe is amazing. So I can't wait to share that one with you. But for today, just to kick it off, I'm going to do something really simple. As I said, there's a little bit of a meat shortage in the supermarkets. I'm sure that will be back. We'll have that flowing in again. But what I did notice is that there is a ton of vegetables there. And one of my favorite items to make, I did it for Thanksgiving this year, is the spaghetti squash. It's so easy, and there's a ton of the spaghetti squash at the supermarkets. They're all over. So I figured, why not take advantage of something? They're easy to store at the house. You don't have to put them in the refrigerator, and you could just keep them on the counter. I don't like to put it in a dark place because it ends up ripening them a little bit more, so I just leave them on my counter. All right, so really, really simple. Here is a spaghetti squash for anybody that doesn't know it, and it gets its name because when you cook it and you scrape it during the cooking process, so I'm going to put it in there for a little bit, I'm going to cook it, I'm going to take it out, and I'm going to scrape it, it actually starts to it breaks up, and it looks like little spaghetti noodles. So it's really cool. So I'm going to make this really simple. I'm just going to slice it in half. And then when I slice it in half, I'm going to take out some of the inside, the guts, kind of like you do with a pumpkin. And then I'm going to put the two halves inside of a platter. And I'm going to spread some coconut oil on it. So, and then that's it. I just put it in the oven, and I'll explain temperature. Well, actually, I'll tell you, the temperature is 350 degrees. The reason I do 350 degrees is because you want to keep a constant temperature cooking. You don't want to overcook it too quickly. I'm using refined coconut oil. So refined coconut oil is okay to have a high temperature, meaning you can have the refined coconut oil has a typical average smoke point of 450 degrees. Typical coconut oil that you see in the shopping center in bulk is going to be virgin. You never, ever want to cook above 350 degrees with virgin coconut oil. I see people that are cooking eggs. You have to be very careful that you're not cooking above the 350 because the smoke point. And if you are cooking above the 350 with virgin coconut oil, that causes carcinogens in your food, which is exactly what we don't want to do. So if you are ever wondering, make sure that you're looking up the smoke points for your different oils. There's a lot of different oils that we're using. I've got avocado oil, which has like almost a 500 temperature smoke point. So I use that for a lot of my cooking. But olive oil actually has a lower smoke point. So you got to be careful. Make sure you're looking it up. So I'm going to be using the refined coconut oil. And I'm just going to put it on there before I even start the cooking process. I'm going to pause during the cooking process, but I'll continue right now and keep this streaming so that you can see how I cook, or how I slice it, how I gut it, and then I'm going to put it in the oven. And then I'm going to pause it, and I'll show you halfway through the cooking process how I'm going to start to, you know, get that what it looks like, the spaghetti. So I'm going to fork it, knife it, and make it into the spaghetti. I'll put it back in the oven, and because I have the refined coconut oil, I'm going to put it at a higher temperature for the last like 10 minutes to give it a nice crisp at the top layer, and it really tastes great. So I'm just going to do it plain like that. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. And then, you know, if you want to get a little bit more fancy, you can always add for Thanksgiving, I added a little bit of goat cheese. I added cranberries. You can get fancy with it. You could even do with just plain marinara sauce. It is spaghetti, so it actually tastes really great. But I like to do just the plain. It tastes good to me. All right, so here we go. So here's the spaghetti. Let's see. I'm so bad with video, guys. I'm really sorry. All right, here's the spaghetti squash. Let's get it back into view. Okay. I'm going to slice it down the center. And try not to cut myself because I'm trying not to go to the hospital anytime soon. Okay. So, slice down the center. You get your two halves, see? And then I'm just gonna gut it with a spoon. I'll bring that over to the sink. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, the video sucks. I'm definitely not a... Okay, so I'm going to do this in parts because I just ended the last video. I got the sticker, so I need to take that off. Wish I had like the hyperlapse thing on here. Alright, you know what? I'm going to skip this part and go with the other slice and just do this for now. Alright, so here's the guts. I'm just scraping the outside with a spoon. It's really simple. Okay. You don't need to make it perfect. Or maybe you do. I'm a little OCD about it. Okay. So now you can see it's pretty clean. I'm now going to bring it over to my pan. And with pans, I like to use tin foil. It helps with the cleaning process, so it's easier and keeps everything. All right, so there we go. And again, I suck at video, so okay. So there's that. I'm using one hand, so I'm just gonna place it in there. Okay. Let's see if I can get this up here so you can see me again. Here's my refined coconut oil. Refined coconut oil, if you're going to do high temperatures. I'm starting out at the 350, so you can use the virgin for the 350. You just can't do the crisping at the top because of the carcinogen. So, as I said, the grocery store, the bulk ones are typically virgin. You want to find refined if you can, if you're going to be doing high temperature cooking, especially with eggs. But you can get away with it with the virgin. You just don't crisp the top. That's fine. And it still tastes delicious. Most of the spaghetti squash is not going to be crisp at the top. But this is definitely available at the grocery store. It's easy to find. It's just not going to be in bulk typically. So I'm going to take that and use my scraper spoon. Okay. Just a teaspoon. And I'm going to kind of layer it on here, try and get it around. All right. Put it back in the pan. Okay. We've got some salt. Little pinch. Put it around there. And my Costco black pepper. Just a little bit. And that's it. That's the easiest thing. Easy breezy. easy. So I keep on covering the video. So I've got the oven preheated. You can see it's at the 350. Okay. And I'm gonna put it in the oven. Okay. Now, typically with the bigger coconut or with the bigger spaghetti squashes, I leave it in for about 40 minutes, but this is a smaller one. So I'm going to set my timer for about 30 minutes and I'm going to take it out after 30 minutes and I'm going to start doing the spaghetti part of it, breaking it up with a fork to make it look like spaghetti, and I'll get back to you in a minute about that. All right, I'll do a little hyperlapse video. Okay, so I just put, I took out the spaghetti squash at the 30 minutes and I tried to fork it. What I did is actually, I took some of the coconut oil that was just sitting on top of the squash and I used a spoon. I forgot to tell you about that part. I used a spoon to, take it and just like drizzle it around it since when it melted, it just like went to the bottom. So I used the spoon, drizzled it, moved it around, and then I took a fork and I attempted to break up the spaghetti and it wasn't in there long enough. So going back, I had started it out with 30 minutes because it was a smaller spaghetti squash. It definitely still needs the 40 minutes. So I just put it in for another 10. And then hopefully when I take it out this next time, it'll break up a little bit easier. All right. Okay. So I just took out the spaghetti squash after another 10 minutes in the oven and it was perfect. It broke away a lot easier. I actually, because I was having some trouble handling it the last time, I forgot that I usually use a paper towel. So when I use the paper towel, I'm able to hold it and get the fork going. And again, I'm using one hand right now because I'm unable to show you how I'm scraping, but I think you get the idea. So hold it with the paper towel and then use a little bit of muscle to like really dig it from the shell, the outward shell, and try and get as much broken up as possible. I'm going to give you like kind of a, there you go. You can see it. So see how it has that spaghetti look. So this is edible at this point, but I like to, like I said, I like to crisp it up. So what I'm going to end up doing is I just increase the temperature to 450, which is again the smoke point for the refined coconut oil. And I'm going to put it, and I'm going to change the oven because I was actually at the center rack. So I'm going to move the rack up to the top. It's on 450. And I want it closer to the top to give it that crisp. So I'll check in with you at the end when it's a little bit crispy and you can see the final. All right. Hey guys. Okay, so I just took it out of the oven. It looks great. So you can see it's nice and crisp. And it's ready to go. It's ready to eat. Let it cool off and eat it so you don't burn your tongue. But one of the things that I forgot to tell you, when I put it in the oven the last time and put it on the top rack, similar to broiling, you want to keep an oven door slightly open so that the whole item is not overcooking. You're literally just trying to crisp the top layer. So anyway, that's what I was able to do. And so this was, first of the series. It's a little long. My apologies. I'm going to try and figure out how to shorten it a little bit, but let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think. If you like this, if you want to keep it going, I'll put some links to other ways of cooking spaghetti squash in the comments. And if, when you comment on the thread, it would be great to, let me know if you have your own recipes for spaghetti squash. And tomorrow, if anybody has any requests and you would like to do your own video, I would love to get your input. I would love to get your help. I'm hoping that we can see more of this happening as the days go on. And then, if anybody has any suggestions on how to make my video better, because I'm using one hand and I really do stink at this thing. It would be really great to get your input. All right. Well, anyway, cheers for now. Great to see you. Thanks for tuning in and hope to see more of you participate. All right. Thanks. Bye.